How's it going, everybody? This is your boy TeknoBlast, and recently I've been wanting to do some original Xbox gameplay, and I'm talking about using the OG Xbox. And I understand that the Xbox One and the Xbox Series consoles, they can handle backward comp, but they don't have access to all the original Xbox games. So most of my gameplay videos when it comes to the Xbox Series or the Xbox One is attached to the Elgato 4K PCI card, which that card is fantastic. It's been flawless since the day I got it, and it's where most of my videos are recorded. However, trying to make the original Xbox work with that 4K video card has been a little bit difficult and pretty much impossible, at least for me. I also have two external capture cards. I got one that's the Elgato, kind of like one of the first capture cards that I got, and then I got the Razer Ripsaw HD capture card, and both of them just are not able to handle the original Xbox. With the older Elgato capture device, it has an input for, remember those yellow and red and white outputs. It has that. It still wouldn't work right. So I got myself an HDMI converter for original Xbox, and the converter works great. It's just still it would not work with both my Elgato, the internal and external devices, and the Ripsaw. So I found this guy, and everybody's heard of this brand before, Hauppage, or Hauppage, however you say it. And I picked up the Colossus 2 internal card. Okay, this is the one, because it can handle most of older type resolutions, which is perfect for the original Xbox. So let me show you which one I got. So this is the one I bought. I bought the Colossus 2, which is great. It records up to 1080-60, which I think most people want to record. Anything over that, anything over the 1080, you may want to go with a higher end video card, just like the Elgato 4K 60. So I picked up this little guy. It was about $145 after, with shipping and everything. I think the shipping was free. And I received it today, popped it in. You do need to download this software, their capture software. Even though you're not intending to use the capture software, you need the drivers. So you still need to download this and install it. But OBS sees it just fine. So here's some of the specifications that comes with the card. It's a great card. It's a great little card, but I'm using it more for the older systems, the ones that have very smaller resolutions. As you can see here in the listing, the smallest resolution it can handle is 567i 50 frames. I mean, that's a very low, and who uses that these days? And then it kind of goes up to 720, 1080, 480, and 1080, and then 1080-60. The original Xbox, like I was telling you, is pushing out 720 by 480, and the newer cards like the Elgato 4K, it wasn't able to go down that far. So because it's more focused on the higher end stuff like the 4K, 2K, and the 1080. All right, so here we are. This is the original Xbox being recorded by the Hauppage Colossus 2 video card. And as you can see, you don't get the widescreen. You really don't. You got more of the box looking frame of the video, and which is why the 4K and all the 4K card that I had earlier wasn't able to handle it. That's why I had to get this card, the Colossus 2. And as you can see, it's working just fine. It works great, and I'm going with this card for anything that's older than, say, like the original Xbox. So here we go. We got one game loaded up, Eon Flux. Very old game. As you can see, it's not the best in graphical terms, but for recording purposes, this card is fantastic. I do highly recommend it because, like I said, some of the newer capture cards are dedicated for the very high-end resolution and frame rate of purposes, such as the Xbox Series, even the Xbox One, PS4, and the PS5. So when it tries to go down to a lower resolution like 720 by 480, the newer cards have a little trouble downgrading to the lower level. So you got to go with something like the Hauppage Colossus 2, where it can handle a range, like I said, between 560i 50 all the way to 1080p. So it can handle that. And like I said, the Xbox is by 720 by 480p, where my higher end cards wasn't able to handle that, but this Colossus 2 can. So if you're looking for a good capture card for retro type gaming, for retro gameplay recording, such as, you know, anything that uses the composite or the component cables, this capture card is great. This capture card also handles HDMI, but again, this card does handle HDMI, so it can handle all the newer devices as well. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys got some information on this card. It's great for retro gaming, for retro devices, and hopefully you got something out of this video. If you're on the fence about this card, they were on back order. I had to wait about 2 months for this guy to finally come in, and I'm glad I waited, and I'm glad I received it today. All right, guys, this is TeknoBlast. Hope you enjoy this. I'll talk to you guys later. Good night.